What up, everyone? Back with another video. This time around we got a box review. So I usually just stick these in the monthly review, but I decided I want to give the specialty boxes and new boxes their own video, because people are usually curious about those ones specifically and they kind of get lost in the big jumble of the monthly review. Also, the specialty boxes go by a different price point, so I didn't really think it was fair to put them in that lineup. So this time around we got the Tmnt from Loot Crate. This is a series they did. There are 4 boxes. This is the first one, and we'll talk a little bit about what's in this. We'll talk about if this box specifically is worth it, but we're also going to talk about some of their other specialty boxes, what you can expect from that. So overall, it's just to give you an idea of what's in there and if it's worth buying for you. That's generally what this channel is about, whether things are worth it for you or not. I pay the money so you don't have to. So this is the first one in the series. There were 4 boxes in total, and I think it comes with an additional bonus figure if you ordered them all. Pup's going to be distracted now. So 4 boxes, this is the first one, and as per usual, in usual Loot Crate fashion, they were delayed again and again and again. They just kind of always been that. They're blaming COVID, which could be the reason. I don't know if that's really true. Honestly, Loot Crate's always been like that. For as long as I can remember, they've always been late on their boxes. They've always had delays. Not a big deal. Like, I don't mind personally because I wasn't expecting this at any specific time, but just something to be aware of when ordering from this company. So if you're expecting a box at a certain time or within a certain time frame, then just be aware that it's very likely to get delayed or to be late. What are you doing? Quit it. So, without further ado, let's just get right into this box. Not a lot of items in it, so this will be a pretty quick video. But I have them right here. First off, we got a t-shirt, as we always do. So let's take a quick look. There's the front. And there's the back. So very basic overall. So normally, my t-shirts get the standard $12 to $15 value. But this is a long sleeve shirt, and I think it's only fair to give it a little bit more value. So I'm going to give this a $15 to $20 value. I think that's fair. And honestly, as far as a score on this specific shirt goes, I'm only going to give it a 3 out of 10. For a few reasons. One, it's really fucking bright. Like, look at this thing. Why did they have to make it look like I'm wearing a fucking highlighter? Like, this is way too bright. They were doing good for so long. Loot Crate did very bright shirts for a long time, and I kind of told them, like, you got to do like softer muted tones, like a soft gray and soft, like, yellow's fine, but like a more dull yellow. Not this. This is so gnarly, and it's long sleeve too. Like, am I a traffic cone? Like, do I just need everyone in the room to see me and see what I'm doing? Do I need to be glowing? It's just such a ridiculously bright color. So right off the bat, not a fan of that. Me personally, I don't prefer long sleeves. I live in Southern California, though. We just really don't ever need them. That's just me personally. That's nothing against them, though. But the color is absolutely atrocious. Then as far as the design, it looks fine, but it's not super high quality. It's obviously from the movie poster from the very first Ninja Turtles movie, as are all these items. So it's obviously taken from that, and it's a very watered-down version of it. So this is more of like a, I wouldn't say two-dimensional. It's basically like a black and white outline, and then they just colored the mask. So it's very, very basic. Not a ton of design quality to it. And then they have the basic writing of the movie title, and they have the same thing on the back, which again is kind of redundant. Why have the movie title on the front and the back? So not very good design quality, and Loot Crate's shirts are not super great either quality-wise. I usually don't end up wearing them because they just fit very awkwardly. A lot of things are measured weird, so I often don't get to wear them. But, you know, if you don't really mind about the fit of shirts, and if you don't mind looking like a highlighter, then this is the shirt for you. But that's why I give it a 3 out of 10. And again, to reiterate, $15, $20 value for a long sleeve shirt. Next, we got some pins. I'll probably show a close-up picture of it. You really don't need to see a close-up picture because these are very, very basic. Same thing with the shirt. Very little design quality to them. It's obviously Raphael and Casey Jones. Again, inspired by the original movie, but very, very basically done. Which is surprising because Loot Crate typically does very nice pins. They usually do a pretty good job on making pins that have a lot of detail, but for some reason they didn't do it with these. It's like they took a design for a small pin and just blew it up, but didn't add any more detail, which again is very, very odd that they would make them so big and so basic. So for that reason, the pins are only going to get a $10 to $12 value, which is very low for something this size with 2 pins, but Considering there's not much design to it, they're really not selling for much, and they're not worth much either. Next, we got some coasters, and these are just very, very basic. This isn't from the movie. This is the only thing not from the movie. This is from the original comic, original Kevin Eastman comic. So it's got Shredder, and then it's got the Turtles, and the design is inspired by the original comic from 1984. And again, these are very, very basic. Just a picture they kind of cut out and pasted to a piece of foam. There's a little bit of texture to it, but not much. So very simple, very basic on that. And those are only going to go for about $7 to $10. Which, again, not surprising, just not a lot of design to it. And the piece de resistance, the figure that it came with. So these are the only things that we knew about, hopefully that stays, going into it. They showed the first figure, and they said there were going to be 4 other ones, but they didn't exactly show who they were. They gave a little outline of it, and you can kind of tell who it was. And they let you know, like, the first box is going to be a movie, another one's going to be comic, another one's going to be arcade, so you can expect characters from that, which is fine. This is the only reason I ordered the box. They had a box they did before, which was an isolated one of Splinter. I have the figure over here somewhere. It was of the movie Splinter, where it's the fire one where he's all blue, and it was the same situation. They showed the figure that was going to be in it, and then didn't show any of the other items. But, you know, I didn't care. I just wanted the figure. It didn't matter if the box was crap, and it was. The figure was great, and all the other items in the box were absolute garbage. And this is kind of the same thing. They showed the figure, and to me, it was worth it just for the figure. I really like NECA. I really like that series they did, so I'm a big fan of that. So to me, it was worth it just for the figure themselves. I got the bigger ones that you can see right here. I like the big size ones, and because they had a lot more detail, and I didn't ever collect the smaller ones. Little did I know, they were only going to make a few of these, and they were going to make a whole bunch of these. Sorry, my computer keeps freezing. They were going to make characters in these size. They did a whole series of them and kind of discontinued the big ones because I guess they weren't selling. Had I known that before, I would have collected all the smaller ones, but no big deal. So I really like this style. I like the figure. Now let's talk about this figure specifically. It's good. Like, NECA always does a good job. They do fantastic figures, so that in itself is worth it. As far as the value on this figure, it's going to be around $60 to $80. Now, it's a pretty big range because on places like eBay, you can always get it a little bit cheaper if you're willing to wait for an auction. You can usually get it a little bit cheaper, but if you want to buy it now, it's usually a little bit more expensive. So that's why that's $60 to $80 range. So that's the value on it. So, and the figure looks fine. The face looks a little bit off. It's not super detailed, but that's kind of typical. It's hard to make realistic faces on an action figure, so it's not surprising. It's to be expected, and not a lot of accessories. It comes with a little Walkman and a change-out face, so not mind-blowing in any way, but still very nice in quality as to expect from NECA. So that brings the overall value on this, on the low end $92 and on the high end $122. So this box itself costs roughly $60. And I say roughly because I ordered the package of all of them, but some people might have ordered them separately. And also, when we're getting in that higher dollar amount, it depends a lot where you are because of your state tax and because of shipping. When you're talking about bigger, more expensive boxes, that's a big player in the factor of the price. So for me, it was around $60 for it. So, is this box worth it? The question that we're all wondering. And I would say yes, only because of the figure that's in there. So as a score on this box, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, even though I previously said most of the box is crap. The reason it gets such a high score is because this one figure makes it worth it. This figure on its own. Even though he's not the most popular character, it's a NECA figure and it's exclusive. So just getting it for that figure totally makes it worth it and totally makes the value worth it. And everything else in there is crap, but it's just a bonus. So you may be of the few that like the shirt and the pins and the coaster, but even if you didn't, it still makes it worth it. So all these extras are just an add-on to it. And when you do the math, you're getting pretty close to double your value, which is surprising from these isolated boxes. Usually when they have specialty boxes or the more expensive boxes like Loot Crate DX, it's almost never worth the value. You get much less value for your dollar on the bigger boxes than you do the small boxes. So it's typically not worth it, but this one is. Now, as I said before, we're going to talk about some of the other boxes out there. Now, I'll say it's worth it for the boxes that come with an exclusive NECA figure because NECA owns Loot Crate and they can do that. So if you're wondering about getting a box from them that's a specialty box or it's a one-off thing, I would say if it comes with an exclusive NECA figure, it's going to be worth it. No matter what's in the box, it's always worth it. If it doesn't, which many don't, they have like a Mariah Carey one, a Britney Spears one. If it doesn't come with a NECA figure, I would say it's probably not worth it because you're going to get more of this other stuff in here that's complete crap and really low end, and you won't be getting something that makes the box worth it. So I'd say that's the distinguishing factor between whether you should get a box or not. Not just talking about TMNT, just in general. The NECA figure makes it worth it. If it doesn't have one, I would say probably skip it. Now we will return with the next box. I'll do a video for each one for all 4 of the boxes. So we'll come back and see if that's the case anyway. So we'll come back and do a value of those and talk about each individual one. You'll get a better idea. But that's my overall opinion to sum up this entire video. TMNT box, completely worth it. Just based on the figure, and I have a feeling the other boxes will be the same situation. No figure in the box, then I'd probably pass on it. But again, that's up to you. So, 8 out of 10 on the box. These were the things that came inside. We'll see the next box and see if it lives up to everything we hoped for in this one. Other than that, see you on the next video. We'll be doing more unboxings. I'll try to get around to doing one for the BAM comic box and also the Zobi ones. I didn't do individual videos for those. Hopefully I'll have time for that. And yeah, I think we'll do some more nerdy news. We got some movies coming up, things to look forward to. Pup, any final thoughts? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. All right. Thank you for watching and supporting. See you on the next video. Love you all. Peace. Freeze frame? You're doing freeze frame? It's a good freeze frame. Good job.